on the corner of 25 West Main Street in downtown Vermilion. The Spot, Winnie Mays, is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The Spot, Winnie Mays, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Up on Coyote News, some recent campus vandalism incidents are being called racially motivated.
Also, we show you scenes from Vermilion's Ribs, Rods, and Rock and Roll. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Cassidy Cornell.
And I'm Nathan Finster. We'll get to those stories and more, but first...
One student has died after a shooting at a high school south of Spokane, Washington. Several students were injured and 3 are being treated at a local hospital, but are reported to be in stable condition. The suspected shooter is in custody. At least 6 nursing home residents have died in Hollywood, Florida. The deaths may be a result of the loss of the home's air conditioning after Hurricane Irma hit the area Sunday, but the causes of death are still being investigated. The Florida Healthcare Association reports that about 150 nursing facilities in the state don't currently have full power. Seattle Mayor Ed Murray resigned yesterday, hours after new sexual abuse allegations surfaced against him. Murray's announcement comes after his cousin accused him of abuse during an interview with the Seattle Times. Murray's cousin is the 5th person since April to publicly accuse him of the child sexual abuse. Murray's resignation is effective at the end of today. And those are your headlines. And now let's take a look at weather with Nick Nelson. Nick?
Thanks, Cassidy. My advice for our viewers would be to go out and enjoy the weather while you can, because we'll be in the middle to high 80s for the rest of the week. For tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy skies with the temperature reaching down to 63 degrees with some southeast winds ranging from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow will be a very nice day outside, nearly sunny with a high near 88 and a nightly low of 65. Friday will bring more clouds with a high of 85 degrees and a low reaching 63, and a 30% chance of thunderstorms. For the big game on Saturday, it'll be a day with average temperatures. The high will be near 78 with a chance of rain that may ruin the tailgate. Saturday night will also bring a 30% chance of thunderstorms. For Sunday, it'll be a cool high temperature of 72 degrees and a nightly low around 51. So make sure to get out there and enjoy the warm summer-like temperatures this week before they drop into the 70s next week. And that's your Coyote weather.
Thanks, Nick. The South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation is investigating allegations of possible excessive force by the university police officer on SDSU's campus. Melissa Mentelli shared photos on Facebook that showed her daughter's injuries. Mentelli's daughter was on SDSU's campus Saturday, but is not a student at the university. SDSU's Director of University Marketing and Communications says that the university is considering the incident a personnel issue and hasn't released any details.
USD has been ranked among the top national and public universities. U.S. News & World Report released their 2018 Best Colleges ranking, and USD is ranked 129th in top public schools, tying with Wayne State University and California State University, Fresno. USD received the 223rd spot overall in the National Universities category, while SDSU received the 216th spot. Coming up, we show you a campus group that's getting investment experience with real money, and we'll tell you how your tailgate videos can make it on air.
This is Coyote News.
More people are talking about climate change following the recent number of strong storms. These storms come over a decade after Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, brought the climate crisis to widespread attention. Al Gore released an inconvenient sequel last month, and the Living River group of South Dakota Sierra Club is hosting a free viewing of the documentary on Monday night at the Coyote Twin Theater. The group says the new documentary comes at a time when climate change is a daily headline and individuals are more eager than ever to act on behalf of the planet.
Vandalism in North Complex has sparked conversations about racial tension around campus. Coyote News' Nathan Finster says that Vermilion joins a number of cities around the country dealing with the same issues.
People coming down the stairs. You will not replace us. You will not replace us. Hail victory. You will not replace us.
These were some of the images that people saw around the nation during the white supremacy riots in Charlottesville, Virginia last month. Since then, white supremacy acts have been happening all over the country, and even here at USD. Olson Hall, a residential hall in North Complex, was vandalized last week. The vandalism was located in the laundry room.
What the vandalism entailed was a swastika that was drawn onto this top dryer and has since been removed.
Lena Tran, the intercultural programming coordinator for the Center for Diversity and Community, says that this has a big impact on campus.
There's a huge effect on our student populations because what they see in the media is a huge indication that when you see your peer mates get hurt just for simply being the color of their skin, it's scary.
Tran says that it's the role of everyone to fight for each other's rights.
We have an obligation to protect our rights and that others that have the same rights and to really work together in understanding our role as citizens into the United States.
For Coyote News, I'm Nathan Finster.
Tune in next week for a continuation of this story to learn how the Center for Diversity and Community plans to deal with potential campus racism.
USD is leading an international physics research project and has received a $4.35 million grant from the National Science Foundation. The 5-year effort will work to advance germanium materials for developing technologies in the study of dark matter and neutrinos. The effort involves 6 universities in the U.S., 2 national labs, and 4 international institutes from Canada, China, Germany, and Taiwan.
A USD business group is preparing students for careers in money management. Coyote Capital Management is a student-run business organization open to all majors that gives students real-world investing experience.
Coyote Capital Management is a $1.8 million student-managed investment fund. Students actively manage equities and index funds, and in total, all the cash and profits from our returns from our various investments go back to the USD Foundation and help benefit the school.
Coyote Capital Management meets Mondays at 4 o'clock in Beacom 128. Contact Staten Zak for more information. Still to come, the Sound of USD has a new director. We talk to him when we come back.
Your fire attack.
1926.
Greetings, welcome to the CDC, the Center for Community and Diversity, where diversity and community meets the University of South Dakota mission.
empowering and enriching the students' lives to ensure that they can obtain the quintessential tools to be able to navigate society.
This is Coyote News.
Ribs, rods, and rock and roll brings crowds to downtown Vermilion year after year. And despite the rain, this year was no different. The home of the South Dakota Barbecue Championship was in full swing on Saturday and Sunday. It was the 13th annual event, and the downtown area was expecting visitors from all over the country.
Now it's turned into a two-day event. We start Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. We have two bands. We had the Clutch out of Vermilion. We also had Mrs. Begley, the boys, out of Vermilion. We have the Wing War. We have a pub crawl.
Saturday was all about ribs and rods. The car show started at noon, and people enjoyed good music, food, and awesome cars. Ribs, rods, and rock and roll once used to be just a one-day event.
And what it's turned into over the years is more of a hometown celebration, bringing in the vendors from around the area and around the region, around the country. And so it's basically, as the name implies, ribs, rods with the car show, and rock and roll with good music.
The event organizers were expecting large numbers of people, and those expectations were met.
The Sound of USD is preparing for the football team's home opener this weekend. As Coyote News' Rachel Newville reports, their new director says the band is changing things up and sticking to tradition all at the same time.
Todd Cranston, the new director of The Sound of USD, has put a lot of research into this year's performances. He says he hopes to improve the quality of the band and bring back old USD traditions.
I've been working really hard to find all the little traditions that are a part of USD past, and teasing those out from pregame to alma mater to we found a fight song that the band hasn't played in a long time, Get Along Coyotes, that's back.
Cranston says tradition is a focus because it brings all members of the USD community together.
Finding the traditions and celebrating them and cementing them and getting past, present, and future people excited about what we're doing.
Cranston's first performance as the Sound of USD director will be at this Saturday's football game. For Coyote News, I'm Rachel Newville.
Cranston says another goal of the group is to change halftime shows throughout the season.
The football team isn't the only group who's ready for Saturday's home opener. Rachel Newville joins us live in the muck with a UPD officer to find out how they're preparing for the crowds. Rachel?
Thanks, Nathan. I'm here live in the muck with Lieutenant Jeff Rice. So, we know that campus is really busy on game days. What does UPD do to prepare for the increase in activity level?
Well, our operation plans actually for the football season usually start when the new schedule comes out. We look at what games are coming up, who we're going to be playing, and we kind of put our plan together around those.
Okay, so I know that there were some new UPD officers that came to campus last spring. How does their preparation with only one home game or practice round, so to speak, impact Dakota Day's preparation?
Well, this will be the first home game, obviously, before Dakota Day, so they'll get their feet wet. That's the best that I can say. We try to train them and prepare them and tell them where they're going to be, and we have our operation plan. They've gone over that. We've talked to all the new officers, and we have some supervisors that'll be kind of watching as well. So I think they'll do very well.
Okay, what can students do to help make a home game weekend go more smoothly?
Show up. Root for our team. I think we've got a very good chance of winning. We've got a great team. I think student-wise, just kind of be aware of what's going on out there.
Okay, thank you. Kickoff for USD's home opener is at 2 p.m. this Saturday in the Dakota Dome. Live in the muck, I'm Rachel Newville.
Thanks, Rachel. Well, Devin, it was an eventful week in sports.
It sure was. We have highlights of the football team's upset win at Bowling Green, and we also have highlights of the Vermilion Tanagers volleyball match against Madison last night. That and more next in sports.
Coyote Twin Theaters in downtown Vermilion, providing entertainment Tuesdays through Sundays. A proud supporter of USD student media.
This is Coyote News.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, the USD football team gets an upset win, and the golf team's had successful weeks. But first, the headlines with Nick Nelson. Nick?
Thanks, Devin. It appears that the Cleveland Indians have forgotten how to lose. They defeated the Detroit Tigers 5-3 this afternoon, giving them an American League record 21st consecutive win. They currently have the best record in the American League with 3 weeks remaining in the regular season. The International Olympic Committee officially announced that Paris will host the 2024 Summer Olympics and Los Angeles will host the 2028 Summer Games. This is the first time the IOC granted 2 Summer Olympics at one time. It'll be the 3rd time each city has hosted the Games and the first time the United States will host in 32 years. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Nick. Going into Saturday night's matchup with Bowling Green, the USD football team hadn't beaten an FBS opponent since 2010. The Coyotes got off to a fast start last week at Drake, and this week was no different. Early in the first quarter, Chris Strevler rolls out to his right, looking to throw, but no one's open, so he takes it himself to the corner, giving USD an early 7-0 lead. Later in the first, Strevler looking to throw again. He lets this one go, hitting Cody Case in stride over the middle, and the speedy freshman goes 72 yards to the house, extending the Yotes' lead to 14-3. He has great hair, by the way. And if you haven't figured it out by now, this Chris Strevler guy is pretty good. He takes this one himself for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game, giving USD a 28-9 lead. Trying to put the game away in the 4th, Strevler hands off to Mike Frederick, who splits the defense and goes 17 yards for the score. That would be all the Coyotes need as they beat Bowling Green 35-27. Strevler accounts for 4 touchdowns and was named the FCS National Performer of the Week. The Coyotes moved up to 23rd in the FCS coaches poll, and they'll play at home for the first time this season on Saturday against 10th-ranked North Dakota. The USD men's golf team finished 4th at Washington State yesterday. Junior Tommy Vining shot a 1 under par 70 in the final round to finish 11 under par for the tournament. Good enough for 2nd place and was the 2nd lowest 54-hole score in program history. Sophomore Matt Tolan and freshman Tate Aarons each finished in a tie for 23rd at 1 over par. Jacob Michael finished 32nd and Matt Swanson finished 36th. The Coyotes play again Monday and Tuesday at the Colorado State Masters Invitational in Fort Collins. In women's golf, the Coyotes finished 6th as a team at the Missouri State Payne Stewart Memorial this week. Carly Kerrigan led the Yotes with a 15th place finish. Lexi Peterson finished in a tie for 26th. Jennifer Vincent in a tie for 37th. Abby Dufresne tied for 44th, and Sunny Killian tied for 56th. Coyote News' Lauren Solik is live in the muck with Carly Kerrigan to talk about her performance. Lauren?
Thanks, Devin. I'm here with Carly Kerrigan, who was the top finisher for USD yesterday in Missouri. So, Carly, what does the accomplishment of being top finisher mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, we put in a lot of hard work, both in the off season and since coming on campus 3 weeks ago. So it's nice to see that hard work's paying off and that everything we've been working on is, you know, trust the process and it's going the right way.
So what sort of preparations do you have to do going into a tournament like this one?
Well, during the practice round, we make sure that we have our course notes out and we have course maps so we know where to hit the ball, where not to. We have pin sheets, making sure we know where the pins are going to be located so we can practice hitting shots to that location, and just making sure that mentally we're in a good state to trust what we've been practicing and working on.
So on the first day of the tournament, USD finished in 9th place, but was able to move to 6th place on the second day. What did you have to do as a team to make that jump?
Really, we just sat down at dinner and kind of dissected the rounds, what went well, what didn't, and just making sure that we stuck to the original game plan instead of, you know, getting up to the tee box and making a split-second decision. And we spoke with Coach Vining, and like he said, you know, we're good enough to be here. Let's go out and show them what USD can do, and fortunately, we played very, very well.
Awesome. Thanks, Carly. On September 24th, the women's golf team will head to Canton, Massachusetts for the Boston College Intercollegiate. Live from the muck for Coyote News, I'm Lauren Solik.
Thanks, Lauren. The volleyball team was in action at the Kangaroo Classic in Kansas City over the weekend. In the final game of the Classic, the Coyotes defeated Rutgers 3-1. Haley Dotseth and Rachel Schmidt led the Yotes with 15 kills each. Defensively, Ann Rasmussen tallied 19 digs. Rasmussen and Schmidt were named to the Kangaroo Classic's all-tournament team. USD takes the court again this weekend at the Northern Colorado Tournament. The Vermilion Tanagers football team lost at Tri-Valley 27-7 Friday night, bringing their record to 1-2 on the season. They return home this weekend to take on the Madison Bulldogs, who are ranked number 1 in Class 11A. The Vermilion volleyball team hosted the 4th-ranked Madison Bulldogs last night. The Tanagers looked good early as Haley Doty sends this one over the net, and the Tanagers look good early. Later in the first set, it's Doty again. Madison would answer, Olivia Rudd, sorry. She splits the defense and Madison would start to pull away. But later in the first set, it's Doty again, and much like the first one, she hits this one right to the corner, and the Tanagers try to swing the momentum back their way. But it would be all the Bulldogs in this one. Kendra Layton hits a line drive right here, and that would fall in for set point. And Madison would go on to win in straight sets. Vermilion falls to 3-6 on the season and plays at T next Tuesday night. While USD does have an NCAA-affiliated women's tennis team, as Coyote News' Taylor Kidd reports, male students or those just looking for leisure play have another option.
The tennis club has begun practices this fall. Meeting every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m., members come to the tennis courts to learn new skills and enjoy the game of tennis.
There's some people that haven't played before, so we just get them out hitting, get the basics down. But yeah, we just basically hit, have fun, get away from classes.
Currently, members spend practices hitting the ball back and forth, but will begin focusing on technique later on in the season.
Whatever, we just like to hit early on because early on in the season, so everyone's a little rusty, got to get the wheels turning again. Later on, we'll probably start some drills and do other things like that. So.
The tennis club had around 30 students sign up at the Student Organization Fair earlier in the year, although only about 10 have come to practice. Head attributes this to the late-night labs or other priorities, but he hopes more will participate. The more members they have, the more tournaments they'll be able to attend.
We have 3 tournaments that we usually like to go to during the year, and that's the U of M 1 Minnesota sectionals tournament and then the Augustana tournament. And so hopefully if we have enough people playing, we can go to those. And those are usually fun, what I heard from the last president.
The tennis club will continue practices until winter. Students who are interested in joining can send an email to alex.heg@coyotes.usd.edu. For the Sports Report, I'm Taylor Kidd.
That's a look at sports. Coming up after the break, we asked students what Kim and Kanye West should name their new baby. Their answers are next.
South.
Fostering is when you take in an animal into your home and you take care of them until we can find them a permanent forever home.
If you can find it in your heart to do it, it's rewarding.
We do all the vetting, the neutering, the spaying, the medications.
The Humane Society has lots and lots of great dogs and cats that can pull at your heartstrings and make you realize you got a little more to give.
This is Coyote News.
Earlier this summer, celebrity couple Kim Kardashian and Kanye West announced their plans to hire a surrogate to carry their 3rd child. In this week's Out and About, we asked students what they think Kim and Kanye should name their new baby. Here's what they had to say.
Something solid, like Andre or something like that. I could go for an Andre.
Cheeto.
Taylor, because Taylor Swift. Spice up that drama.
If it's a boy, I think they should name it Trav. Not Travis, but Trav, you know. So it's like a name that's like kind of like original, but like it says like I party hard and my parents are rich and like loaded. You know what I mean?
Steve.
it's a girl, probably like Stace. Not Stacy, but Stace. And like you can't have any variation, like just Stace, because like Stace's mom has got it going on.
Sriracha Ranch West.
They shouldn't have any more kids.
South.
Be south.
South.
South?
South.
East West.
West.
Southeast. I'm not sure, but I feel like they could go in any direction.
Pick up a new issue of The Volant out today, featuring a story how the Center for Academic and Global Engagement is working to increase study abroad program enrollments by 10%. That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And be sure to listen to KYOT and KAOR Coyote Radio daily updates throughout the week.
And your videos of this weekend's tailgate could end up on next week's show. Post your videos with the hashtag Coyote Tailgate. Thank you and have a great night.